want to walk into there and spend too much money for something that you really don't know how to use. And it takes a lot of times to master them, even the smallest things that you can buy.
You are now listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. The show is designed to help you grow your mobile app audience and get advice from experts in your industry. Now, here's your host, Sean Garvey.
Hey, what's going on, family? It's the architect himself, Sean Garvey, the host of BV Mobile Apps Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you want to learn more information about BV Mobile Apps, or if you are in the market of getting your app customized, what are you waiting for? Go to their website right now, bvmobileapps.com. That's bvmobileapps with an S at the end.com. Get your app customized today, bvmobileapps.com. Today's show, we are going to talk to you about how you as a DJ can succeed in Chicago. And speaking of Chicago, it happens to be one of my favorite places in the country. When I think of Chicago, I think about the Chicago pizza. I think about the skyscrapers in Chicago, the sights, the sounds, and especially the music, especially hip hop. A lot of great artists come out of Chicago as well as DJs. And speaking of DJs, I happen to have a professional DJ on the telephone line. He is a member of the Core DJs. He's also from the west side of Chicago. His inspirations are DJ Jazzy Jeff, DJ Kid Capri, DJ Tim Buck, DJ Scratch. The list goes on and on and on. He's been a client of BV since November 5th, 2016. And every now and then you can catch him spinning the hits on Core DJ Radio, which airs every Friday night at midnight on Shade 45. That's on Sirius XM Radio. And I have the one and only DJ Juvy on the telephone lines. DJ Juvy, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How about yourself?
Hey, man, I am doing good, doing great. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to me and our BB Mobile Apps Podcast listeners. And once again, I just want to reiterate that this program is to educate aspiring DJs or DJs who are in any market on how to succeed in the Chicago area. But before we go any further and before we dive deep into the Chicago scene, I want to get a little bit of background on yourself and just get the listeners to become familiar with DJ Juvy. You started out young in music. You was introduced to music at a very young age. And I read somewhere that you had many opportunities to give up on your dream of becoming a DJ. And I'm just curious, what were those opportunities?
Just also focusing on trying to, my other passion, which is computer technology. So just dealing with like the confliction of trying to work both sides, personal stuff that goes on. You know, everybody has families, things that go on as far as like my mother fighting, being sick or whatnot, just normal growth changes that kind of will make you think about wanting to stop what you're doing. Like if you don't feel like you're getting enough from it to go a different path, and it just actually turned around to be more motivation for me to keep going.
We hear stories like that, especially if it comes from bittersweet moments or places in your life where you going through some humble beginning times or some turbulent times. It just motivates you to become more stronger than where you was at in the past, and it encourages you to keep going on and pursue those dreams. So let's move forward to you being a DJ in Chicago. You was exposed to the music scene in Chicago for quite some time. A lot of great artists have came out of Chicago. Common, Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco, The Brat. We can go, we can go on and on and on. Have those artists become an inspiration to you growing up in the music scene?
I think technically all of them to me have all have their own pieces that I can relate to, that built me into learning how to navigate through the industry to get that way. But yeah, I think every single Chicago artist that has made it, and I mean, of course, we still got tons that's in progress of making it now. But yeah, everybody has some type of. We all have. I mean, that's the one thing that makes us all connect us to the music. So, just their stories as well as what they put into the music is always something in there that I was relatable to. So it always inspired me to keep going.
DJs like the ones that I mentioned earlier, your DJ Jazzy Jeffs, your Kid Capri's, your DJ Scratch, Boy Genius, DJ Tim Buck. You got a great list of DJs that have had huge accolades throughout their DJing career. And so each DJ that became an influence in your DJ career, what did you take away from each DJ? As a DJ yourself, what did you take away? Whether it was advice, whether it was their DJing techniques, what did you take away from each DJ?
Collectively, honestly, the one, and it was actually all of them, plus, of course, it's a long list. Those are just like some to name off. But collectively, honestly, they all motivated me, inspired me to that I took the way that I took the actual their way of techniques and things like that. It was, and that's what actually got me to wanting to be a DJ. Is the fact that they was able to control a whole like arena or just venue by music. So just watching how just with two turntables, a mixer and a mic, that you got thousands of people sitting there like vibing with you, and you control them like you have them in the palm of your hand, and that was like amazing to me.
You obviously is not just only the DJs and the artists out of Chicago that have helped you get to where you are at now as a DJ. What else have made you successful as a DJ in Chicago?
I feel like honestly, I think my top thing that really helped me be successful is my hustle. I'm motivated to make ways out of no ways and just being able to navigate through, because this is hard. Even though Chicago is big with music and everything, it's hard to always make it in your own city first. It took me a while to understand that, but a lot of people always look to venture to make it outside of their city before they make it in their own. But I think it's just more so my hustle to network with other people, get into different environments. I don't like to just stay strictly in the box of just like hip hop. I love all genres of music, so to be able to move with different crowds, the diversity, and just the networking and the conversations that you can have with just different cultures and things like that is phenomenal. And I think that's what I think my hustle to do that and to make it like this, to not just focus on the goals. It's just the fact that it's just something that's passionate to make it where that it wouldn't have to be about money, and I would still do it.
And you come from an entrepreneurial background also, so that plays a factor in where you at now as a DJ. And you also mentioned networking, which is very important. And the thing here at the BV Mobile Apps Podcast, one of the things we encourage people to do is to network. Wherever they are going, it could be at a business function or at a social function, any event or any conference that DJs or even artists attend to. We always stress the importance of networking. You never know who you're going to meet when you are in that particular environment. So I'm glad you brought up networking, because that's a very important thing. Now, one of the things I like to talk about on podcasts is the equipment. I'm a very techie guy. I love technology and I love the advancement of technology. You got to talk to our listeners the specific places that DJs can go to shop for good equipment in Chicago. What are some of those places that you want to mention?
Well, definitely by me being a real techie guy, especially by that being another source that I focus on as well, which is definitely technology. Top places to go here to get equipment is Guitar Center, as always, it's everywhere, but Guitar Center, 123 DJ is one big spot. We still have a Sam Ash here. It's another place called Gear Club Direct, and AV Max are the top places to go definitely get your equipment from.
Tend to expound on each of those pieces of equipment you as a DJ. Like, let's start with the beginners. For people that are just now becoming beginners in the professionalism of DJing, what equipment should you suggest, or do you think you suggest to beginners when they go to those places that you name, like a Guitar Center? What do you suggest they get starting out as a DJ?
Honestly, I say to anybody beginning out, before you walk into any DJ equipment store, do your research first. Because you can walk into any of the places as a beginner and get taken in different ways, and you feel lost because it's a lot of terminology and things that will get thrown at you and you may not know. So definitely for me, the way that I started out, because I actually started out on my own, nobody taught me. I went and picked up a board. I picked up a little controller, and I started playing on my own. And that's how I got started out. So I always do the research on equipment. Like, there's different things like digitaldjtips.com, and it's another website. I know I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but that's like one of them. They all go over reviews over different controllers and equipment, and I definitely advise to look at those, like that website, and I know they got other suggestions to start off with, because you don't want to walk into there and then spend too much money for something that you really don't know how to use. And it take a lot of times to master them, even the smallest things that you could buy. So you definitely want to have something that you're looking to just start off with, basically, so that you can get yourself comfortable and see if this is something that you really want to continue with, because some people just get into it for the fun of it, or they see somebody else doing it, and some are actually really hardcore serious about really wanting to actually take it further, even after succeeding off the first board. So definitely test it out. I don't never turn anybody around and say not try it out.
And of course, you have the internet. The internet is resourceful. You have tutorials on YouTube and other places for DJs that are starting out. So, just take heed of the resources that you have available as a beginner DJ. Now, for those who are past the beginning stages and are now at another level as a DJ, and they're more advanced than the beginners, what equipment do you recommend for those that are ready to take it to the next level?
More so, a lot of times when you first start out, you usually are with a 2-channel controller. So the next step usually is to go to a 4-channel, because you're now expanding to be able to do multiple things. So, of course, being as a DJ and advancing, multitasking is a very big thing. So, definitely in the 4-channel board area, I would push for, so right now, of course, the industry standard is Pioneer. So, the Pioneer 1000 SRT, that's one of the top boards out right now. I recommend. I've been a big fan of Newmark for some years. So I still, if you want to, some people have a little, try to do a debate between wanting to go all the way back into the fundamentals of getting turntables, or some just want to get something similar to that under controller. So if you were to get a controller that's similar to that, to give you the turntable feel, I would recommend a Newmark NS7. The 2 or the 3. More likely, you probably just can get a 3 now. If you do find the 2, it might be for a good price, because it's been out for about 5 years or so. And then there's a good company as well. I would probably say the MCX 7000. I know some people did. I had the MCX 8000. After about 2 years, I was ready to get rid of it. So, but it's pretty much off the basis of what it is that you're trying to do. So it's like if you're willing to be scratch heavy, like trying to be a scratcher, then I would definitely like go towards either the Newmark NS73 or the Pioneer DDJ 1000 SRT because those have like the CDJ big job wheels feel, so you guys can get that closer to the techniques, or the Pioneer 1000 turntables, or you do the Newmark NS73, which is definitely with the motorized titers.
Nice.
Those are my top two boards I think I would go with.
Nice. And you can never go wrong with the Newmark. I have plenty of close friends that are DJs that always use the Newmark, and that's a great brand. So you can't never go wrong with that.
I've debated so many DJs on Newmark. It's been a journey because they would talk so bad about the Newmark, but I've gotten some great veterans that strictly just been turntables to go get the Newmark NS73 and they love it. So I've been able to be very persuasive. But yeah, it's been a big long debate about coming in with a Newmark board versus the Pioneer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet. I mean, like I said, you can't ever go wrong with a Newmark. You can't argue against it.
No, you can't. They stepped their game up. They really did. I know they had some little flaws that people were. That's why they kind of were so skeptical about it. But they have very strong boards now. That's definitely the sound quality is great. And the feel of them gives you real comfortable. You don't feel like you having any problems. No glitches or things like that. So they're really stable.
Nice. For those who are just tuning in to the BV Mobile Apps podcast, I am talking to DJ Juvy, one of the members of the legendary Core DJs. And we're talking about how DJs can succeed in Chicago or can succeed in a Chicago market. So we're going to stay in the Chicago area. And one of the questions I want to ask you, DJ Juvy, is in regards to DJs that want to practice in front of an audience. So when that beginning DJ goes into a shop, gets his first equipment, and wants to practice it, they probably don't want to practice at their mama's house. Mama may be complaining about that music is too loud. and you know, and they want to go somewhere else where they can practice and practice in front of an audience, or it don't matter. It could be an audience of 5 people, 10 people, 20 people or more. Where can one DJ in Chicago go to practice in front of an audience?
So practice it. I honestly don't recommend practicing in front of an audience because 9 times out of 10, when that occurs, you're in front of an audience that you don't know nobody, and you kind of try to feel like you're in the process of trying to please them, trying to figure out how to read the crowd, as well as make sure you please the promoter. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably get hired by a promoter. I recommend, honestly, when it comes out to practicing, is even if you did do it at your mom's house in the basement and she was yelling with the broom on the floor or whatever, I would recommend to record your practice sets. But there is a venue we have here that you're able to practice or do a live stream if you want to. I know a lot of people, especially with the internet, are doing the Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and Periscope or whatnot. But there's a place, a good friend of mine is DJ Gemini Jones. She has a studio called BPM Studios, and you can you pay per hour and go there and actually practice, and you can live stream if you want to, or just play and record, kind of get yourself to zone out so that you don't feel like you have that pressure, because I think that also can throw you for a loophole when you're practicing in front of an audience that you definitely don't know. So if you're not practicing like in front of your family or something, you get real nervous about trying to make sure that you pick the right songs and that you're doing the right thing, and that can mess with your set. So you don't want to do that until you get a little bit more comfortable and it still won't be considered practice because now it's showtime.
All right, so can you practice in front of family members? What about family members and friends? They're considered as an audience as well, too, right?
Yeah, you can practice in front of them, yeah, because that's how I did. I think I practiced, and I practiced in front of them, but that's pretty much the best way. If you can do it in front of family members and friends, then that's cool. But you definitely want to, with practicing in front of them, you do have to let them know to give you their honest critiques, more so than just saying, "Oh, my cousin, my brother, whatever, or whoever is trying to become a DJ," and they just like, "Oh yeah, it sounded good," and it actually really doesn't. So that's the only thing that can draw you from getting the right response from your family members versus family members and friends versus doing it and then letting other DJs, if you definitely haven't already connected to some, definitely network and connect with other DJs to get their opinions, because they can give you the actual raw, straightforward opinion about what it is you're doing wrong when you record your set and have them listen to it. Or if you can have them come and listen to you live, that works better as well.
Yeah.
But I still do recommend going to practice in front of your family, but I've noticed that sometimes you get the favoritism, like, yeah, it was good, and then you give it to a DJ or somebody else, and they're like, nah, this wasn't right.
So this leads me to my next question that coincides with the previous question I just asked you. What I've been seeing lately is DJs performing on social media. They do it on Facebook Live. They do it on IG Live. Whether they are practicing or whether they are on point with it. Is that something that you highly recommend to DJs, especially DJs that are starting out? Do you think practicing it in front of Facebook and IG Live audience members, do you think that's a good idea also, or no?
I'm 50-50 with it. Only because, just like I was saying, and with the answer to the previous question, you still kind of can get some people that'll tell you you do have a high chance of getting somebody to give you the honest truth about how you're performing, but then you can also get the false truth from while you're performing on Facebook on social media live, any of the platforms. I do say take a risk if you want to, just to kind of help, because I know that's also a platform to be used to help market yourself, to try to get your name out, there to be like, oh, I didn't know you was a DJ. So I'm kind of a little torn between that, but I say I'm gonna lean towards the yes and go ahead and yes, definitely give it a try. As long as you can understand and take constructive criticism, I say definitely give it a shot.
Everybody's doing it on social media, not just singing, not just rapping, but DJing on social media. So, why not test the waters on social media and let the social media followers decide?
Yeah, I think sometimes the perception of how social media is built right now, with a lot of people looking to use that as a platform to like instantly get big or famous. So they're thinking like, oh, I can go do this and it'd be fine and I'm good and I can get a whole bunch of people and I start getting a whole bunch of parties. And it don't always work. It don't work out like that. So I just want to change the perception to understand that you're going in there to showcase what you're doing, and you want to look at the feedback of what you're getting from your audience. Not just be looking for the, oh yeah, you're doing a good job. Look for the ones that's gonna give you that hardcore, like, you need to work this out. That didn't sound too good. That's where you need to take that constructive criticism and apply that to what you're doing to help improve.
Now let's move or switch gears from social media to another media platform, and that's radio. I'm in radio. I hear a lot of DJs spin records all the time, especially in the Atlanta market. But in the Chicago market, it might be a little bit different. But how can DJs in Chicago get on the radio?
Honestly, getting on the radio in Chicago is very hard. You have a lot of people you're in competition with that's trying to fight for that slot. just to get a slot on Chicago radio. And sometimes it's almost being knowing the right place at the right time, but it's definitely to keep you. It's not something you should not give up on. Like you can, it will take you. It will take some time. I'm honestly not gonna say it will take some time. It will take some years. I'm not gonna guarantee that you're gonna get one of those slots immediately. You have to build your brand and get yourself on to get on there. But once you get on there, it's like once you get there, you gotta maintain it too as well. So you gotta be prepared at all costs. But you definitely have to network with the right people to get close enough to get yourself on. It's almost like I almost maybe feel like it's a Section 8 waiting list. Like you try to build yourself up to get to that number one spot, so they could be like, oh, you got a room ready. But it does take a lot of work. I have not been able to get on Chicago radio, but I've done radio in different cities and states, so it still is a goal of mine to accomplish.
Speaking of radio, and let me just say this: I attest to what you're saying, that it is hard to get in radio. I remember it was hard for me 17 years ago when I couldn't get into mainstream radio. I had to start out at a non-commercial radio station. I was able to get my foot in the door in this particular non-commercial radio station, and then I learned over time that there are so many non-commercial radio stations across the country. There's KMOJ, and then there is a bunch of non-commercial radio stations in California, like KCLU, and just even in Atlanta. Like I said, I started out in non-commercial radio, which happens to be WRFG. But my question to you is, are there any non-commercial stations like a WRFG or like a KCLU or like a KMOJ in Chicago where DJs can easily get on the air?
Yeah, there's some couple of different stations that's non-commercial, definitely. Big shout out to my guy DJ Epidemic with Logic Radio. That's definitely a station you can get onto. What's another one? I know there's also a station that just started probably about a year, maybe about a year and a half. It is ESM Radio or 88.9 FM. That's another one. I'm trying to think of another one. It's a few. We got Windy City Underground. That's actually connected with with the Illinois Broadcast School. So definitely some beginner DJs. I also forgot to mention that as well. Looking as far as people that starting out beginning DJ. Definitely, that's a school that I would recommend you also can go to help you learn how to. They're gonna teach you different ways of how to DJ as well as how to market yourself. Another one is Scratch Chicago. Both of those schools. So they also give you referrals and things like that. But other non-commercial radio stations I can think of right now, those are the main two. Windy City Underground, and there's another one, Windy City Live. I might be missing it. Yeah, that's another one too as well. With UIC Radio. There we go. That's another one. And those are about the main three I can think of right on top. I know it's probably a couple more, but it's definitely that's part of the research.
Yep. And anybody can Google these radio stations online. Google for more information. If you are a DJ in Chicago, an aspiring DJ, and you want to get on and you want to showcase your talent, we definitely highly suggest that you Google these, the name of these stations, and get more information about them. Now, what are some of the best venues that you performed in Chicago?
Some of the best venues that I performed in Chicago?
Yes. What are some of the best venues? Like, take us back to a time where you had one of the most best days or best nights that you had at this particular venue in Chicago that you can remember. What are some of the best venues?
One of the best nights, I actually want to say one of the best runs, because it was a residency. And I wish it was, it's still the sign is still up. The club is just not open no more. But Karma Club in Dallas Grove was one of the best places. Let me say Karma Club and 12th Street Wings were one of the two of the best spots that I've had residencies at. Great audiences that came in every week. It was remarkable. I mean, I started off with 12th Street Wings, which happened to be like literally down the block from my house, and got referred by somebody that came in that was related to the promoter at Karma Club, and I got there, and so my numbers jumped up from my audience of being like 100 to 150 to about 1,000 to 2,000 every Saturday.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are some of the best promoters in Chicago that book DJs?
Meach Promotions. I could definitely give out Cleavon was definitely one. Twin, we call them twin, but I was just say the twins from 12th Street Wings. They definitely were big. Let me see another promoter. The Dream Team over at the Bureau Bar and Bracket Room. Mm-hmm. They definitely have been strong with me for actually the past year. Trying to think who else we going back into. That's been pretty much. And I know it's probably some other ones I might be. If I'm forgetting y'all, sorry, forgive me. Don't beat me up if you see me.
How can promoters in Chicago book DJs? How can they reassure these DJs that they are going to be able to get the best marketing, the best promotion that they could get? How can one promoter ensure that?
That's a hard one. For the way that the actual market works, it's pretty much a lot of word of mouth, because it's usually always somebody get referred by either a family member or just somebody that might have heard them and they enjoyed the DJ or whatever, and was like, hey, you should check this one out. And then it comes to the time where they're like, okay, either the DJ that they have as a residency might not be able to show because he has another booking or things like that, or just couldn't make it, and then last minute calls, something like that. They have to they get to the point where they have to take the risk of giving you an opportunity, and you have to, that light of sun shined on you, so you have to make it count. Definitely, but that's pretty much how it really works. Unless you already have major, you're backing your following already, and they just happen to just come across you. That's be another way, but it's more so just pretty much word of mouth, or if they heard you on their own, that's how you really get contact with the promoters. Or if you actually, and I always recommend it, don't just count it as if you're becoming a DJ or already a DJ. Don't depend on just sitting at the house and waiting for people or promoters to call you. The only way that they're gonna actually call you or think about calling you is if they see your face. So you do have to actually make pop outs. Stop at some of the parties, like just stop in and introduce yourself, things like that. That is the best way to get yourself known more than just depending on the ones that you've already been working with or just finding out about.
I know we only have a few minutes left right here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast. Once again, for those who are just tuning in, we're talking to DJ Juvy from the Core DJs, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Core DJs organization in just a few moments. But I want to piggyback on something that we talked about earlier in the conversation regarding venues. Are there other venues that you haven't performed yet that you would love to perform? Like you never had a chance, you never had the opportunity or the time to go to this particular venue in Chicago to perform. What venue would you like to go to perform in Chicago that you haven't performed before?
Well, of course, just a lot of them are being changed around now and things like that. I do want to perform at like Play, Light. There's another one up north. It's a few that's actually starting to develop us in like the downtown. All the venues that's pretty much downtown and up north area, like Milwaukee, off of Milwaukee Avenue, and downtown area, whatever. Those I've performed in like maybe one or two, but I definitely want to come back and perform studio appearances as well. And then if I want to rewind back to some ones that was open when they before they closed down, if I want to really go back, I want to go back to like Centra and Crush or Red Kiva. Those are days like when I was before I actually became a DJ, I was coming out to the clubs and listening to some of the DJs, especially some of the core DJs, listening to them perform.
So would it be fair to say that as a professional DJ, you can perform anywhere in Chicago? And when I mean anywhere or any club, it can be it can be a dance club, nightclub, or even a strip club. You can perform at any club. Would it be fair to say that?
I don't have it's no preference. I mean performing at a strip club, what I've learned, with the difference between performing at a strip club versus performing at a regular nightclub is that with the music knowledge, at a regular nightclub, you have a better journey of how you want to take your audience at a nightclub versus a strip club. The strip clubs and things like that, some similar to that, you're pretty much focusing on playing the very, very hottest new records out. Even some that you may not have even heard of yet or just starting to hear. But that's a lot of a breaking record ground, which is, don't get me wrong, it's great, but you're kind of channeled in a certain direction. It's nothing against it. I performed at Club O and Sky 11 as like two of the strip club, and as well as Structure, which is like a nightclub / strip club to a degree. But yeah, it's pretty much you have to play all of your top 100 like hottest records. Versus being in a regular nightclub, you have set where you can kind of go across the board and feel your way through. Like you can just take people more on a full journey compared to just playing all the turn up hits.
And this is good information to DJs out there, because every DJ is not meant to perform at a strip club. Because like you said, strip clubs is the lane for DJs to play the hottest records, to play the songs that'll get you lit and turn up, or to break records for that matter. And then you have nightclubs, especially if you are performing in front of an older, mature crowd, or people that just come to dance. You have your lane. You have your lane of the kind of music that you play. So it just depends on the environment, and it depends on where you at as a DJ. So I definitely understand that. Now let's switch gears, because one of the things I like to talk about is DJs being a part of a iconic and an important coalition. And one of those is the core DJs. Talk to us about your experience as being an affiliate to the core DJs.
Of course, now I've been a member for 3 years now, so I know from initially when I started out with my app with you guys, I was an affiliate, and actually in that city, I became a part of the core DJ. So that was a great experience. But being a part of the core is it's more than just the name itself. It's the brand and the unity in the family. Like that's what draw me to them in the first place. Everybody, by having so many people that's connected and not being in the same area or city really more so, and being able to actually work together like that is a strong thing, because you have a lot of different, I call them power players, in all different cities, states of cities across the nation. So that gives you ways of learning how to perform in different cities when you travel, if you're looking at traveling, as well as it gives you opportunities to have even opportunities for radio, and just like when we have our retreats, having it all come together like it feels powerful. I mean, it's like a big power, like you get a superpower. Like you come in, like we all come in swarm into one city, and we take over the city for the 4 days that we're there, and it's almost like it's ours. So it's that, and being able to, and you still get more knowledge while you're there because we have the panels, the discussions, with different like celebrities that come through to help out and things like that. So it's really a great thing. But I mean, it's been an honor since I've been a part, and even while I was an affiliate before I became a part, it was still great. It was just to see that was amazing.
Now, can anyone or can any DJ who has went on to prove himself or herself that they are at the next level in the DJ game, can they be a part of the core DJ organization? And if so, how can they be a part of core DJs?
Well, the door of opportunity is always open. We're always looking for members that people are looking for DJs that are, as we say, hungry. They're ready to really strive and keep going. But it takes for you to have to definitely come out to the retreat, to the conferences. But definitely, first thing first is to connect with your area's leader. So whoever is running your regional area, that's who you definitely need to find out and get in contact with first.
All right, that sounds fair enough. And are there any other core DJs in Chicago?
Oh yes, it's a big team of us. There's about 15 of us. Yeah, we have DJ Reese, DJ Showtime, DJ Green Eyes, DJ Q Ball, DJ Gemini Jones, DJ Avery Minor, DJ Sundance, DJ AMPM. I can kind of go down a little bit more further, but yeah, that's about a big number.
Core DJs, they are everywhere. They're across the country, especially in Chicago. And DJ Juvy, you have an app. I mentioned earlier that you are a client of BV, and you've been holding it down with BV for a few years now. You have an app.
Yeah.
Talk to our listeners about your app.
It's pretty much strictly it's about me. It's how to keep up with me. I post all the time when I post the mixes on there, where I'm gonna be at next, the flyers, how to contact me, and it's great to have that connection with my followers, list supporters, all of that. They definitely, it's a great way to connect with them and to gain more on top of that. I always enjoy the fact of when I'm out and talking with people, and they be like, "Man, can I get a card?" And I'm like, "Download my app." They like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, download my app." And they be like, "You got an app?" I'm like, "Yeah." So that look on their face is priceless, and that's but it's definitely it's a great thing to have.
The app is available. You can get it anywhere, Google Play, the App Store, and it's courtesy of BV Mobile Apps. You can go to bvmobileapps.com for more information, and you can just simply download the app and listen to some great music, some great mixes from DJ Juvy. And it's available. It's available on your Android and on your iPhone. So you can listen to all the great stuff that DJ Juvy has to offer on the go. Yes, indeed. So before we close out and before we let you go, DJ Juvy, go ahead and tell the listening audience how they can get in contact with you if we have a DJ, he or she, if they want to be a part of core DJs, or if they want to learn more information about you and how they can be a part of your movement, Go ahead and give the listeners your contact information, or where can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, definitely. You can follow me on all social media platforms. It's DJ Juvy. I always say it this way: it's with the Y and not the IE. So definitely, when you spell Juvy, you put the Juvy. But definitely, you follow me on all social media: Twitter, Facebook, IG, Snapchat. You can also definitely go to my website, www.dj-juvy.com. I post pretty much all my radio mixes and stuff between the website and the app, so you definitely can listen to them on both ways. And that's the best way to contact me. Should be a DM or whatnot, and I can definitely direct you with the best advice and ways to, if you want to become part of the core, definitely give you the best advice on what you should do as your next steps, and go from there.
I also read somewhere that you used to sell mix CDs. Are there going to be any new mix CDs coming out of the woodwork from your end? Mixtapes, mix CDs, any mixes online? Can we expect any of that in the near future?
Yeah, so that's how I started off, because I didn't get a pair of turntables like I wanted since I was 12. I started putting CDs together in middle school, going into high school. And between doing that and actually taking those CDs and finding a way to actually play them like they were lined up where it was in sync, at my family function. That's what got me really pushed into DJing after I came back home from college. But my mixes and stuff, I'm definitely pushing out mix CDs currently. All my mixes, the radio mixes, even the separate ones that are outside of them, because I, of course, do try to do different genres, mixes and things like that for everybody. They're on my website to purchase. They're free. I've been giving them out for free, so definitely go on the website to subscribe, and you'll definitely get them for free to listen to all the time. Or you can definitely go on the app, and they're on there as well, so you can always stream right off the app.
Any advice that you want to give to aspiring DJs, or even to your son? Because I do understand that you're training your son to help carry out the love of music to the future generations and many years to come. So if your son is listening, or any aspiring DJ that's out there that's getting all this great information from you, what advice do you want to relay to your audience members?
Stay focused and keep your passion for music. That's the first thing first, actually, because your passion for music is what got you into DJing. It's going to be what's going to keep you in there. And it's just, if I think what else would be useful advice, I think more so just stay focused, shoot for the stars, but you can only be as great as you see yourself. That's one of my strong lines.
Well, DJ Juvy, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we had this sit-down conversation to talk about how a DJ can be successful and succeed in Chicago. It takes patience, it takes determination, it takes that hunger inside you to get to the next level in Chicago. So we really appreciate the time, DJ Juvy. Much success to you and more in your future endeavors, man. And once again, the website and contact information, just in case they missed it.
DJ Juvy, Juvy.ie. All social media platforms. Definitely type that in, download the app. The website is www.dj-juvy.com. Definitely get on there to get all the mixes, and stay tuned, and look forward to seeing you all at one of my next events.
DJ Juvy from the west side of Chicago, Illinois, that is. DJ Juvy, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with your host, Sean Garvey. You can follow me on all social media, Facebook at Sean Garvey, Twitter, Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL. And for more information about how you can get your app customized today, go to bbmobileapps.com. They are waiting to hear from you.
It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.
Thank you for listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with your host, Sean Garvey. For more information about BV Mobile Apps, visit the website, bvmobileapps.com. Don't forget to follow BV Mobile Apps on social media at BV Mobile Apps. Tune in again next time on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast.